Yeah, hi there. These comments are for UT, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the online TOEFL course, a 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. You're also one of my students at California State University, San Bernardino, and you completed Independent Speaking Practice Test number 2. And I want to go ahead and play it one time all the way through, and then I will play it one more time and comment on the different parts of your speech, even pointing out some possible pronunciation or grammar or vocabulary issues, and on and on and on. Okay, here we go.
My opinion, saving money to buy a nice house is more challenging than finding a good job because you have to pay everything for your life and the bank requirement high down payment. For the car, you have to pay all kinds of stuff such as bill, food, clothes. Even though you have a good job with a high salary, it's still hard to save the money. For instance, my mom is small business. She makes more than $1,000 every week, but she have to pay the electric bill, water bill, food for her family, and the shopping. So she only saves less than half of the money. Another reason saving money is more challenging is being required high down payment, like 10% of total house, like your house by $500,000, and you have to down at least $50,000. So buy a house is more challenging than finding a good job.
Okay, not bad. I think you got an organization there. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when we play it back, we will see you're not putting S's. When your words end in S like house, you might say how. Instead of nice, you'll say nigh. So you have to make sure that you put those final S sounds on the ends of your words, including your plural nouns, and it'll make it easier for us to understand what you're saying. Remember, if you forget to put a consonant sound on the end of a word, if you say wa instead of wash, or how instead of house, we're not going to be able to understand you. That's going to cause some major problems with your understanding. So let's go back to the beginning and listen to the speech again in parts.
My opinion, saving money to buy a nice house is more challenging than finding a good job.
So you want to say nice house, not nigh house.
Because you have to pay everything.
I wouldn't say because you have to pay. I would say because I, or because a resident must have to pay. I would not use the word you in this type of speaking task. That's a little bit too informal for this kind of speaking. So they're asking you, what do you think is more difficult? So I would frame it more as, when I have to save money, it's harder for me to save money for a house because I have bills, or my mom has bills, or my dad has bills. Focus on it from your point of view. You don't have to talk directly to the audience.
Thanks for your life and the bank requirement high down payment.
So you want to say a high down payment. High. You have to pronounce that high.
For the car, you have to pay all kinds of stuff such as bill, food, clothes. Even though
you would say food, clothing.
have a good job with a high salary is.
Even though you have a good job, not job, but a good job,
Still hard to save the money. For instance, my mom is small business. She makes more than $1,000 every week, but she have to.
Now you're having some problems with your language use right in here. Let's see if we can figure out what this is. Hold on one second. Give me a second.
Small business, she makes more than $1,000 every week, but she have to pay.
She pays $1,000 very quick or very quickly. There's some problems in what you're trying to say there.
Electric bill, water bill, food for her family, and the shopping. So she only saves less than half of the money. Another reason saving.
So she always saves half of the money
For her family and the shopping. So she only saves less than half of the money. Another reason saving money is more challenging is being.
I like this right here. Another reason why saving money is more challenging is because that's good, because you're now connecting this second part of your speech back to the speaking task. So that was a good strategy there in terms of organizing your ideas.
Require high down payment, like
a high or higher down
10%
payment.
of total house, like your house by $500,000.
$100,000 Don't forget to put the S on your dollars. It actually sounds like a Z.
You have to down at least $50,000.
I want to say $50,000.
So buy a house is more challenging than.
So buying a house is more challenging. It's not really buying, but saving money to buy a house is more challenging.
Finding a good job.
A good job, Okay, so specifically, I'm starting to learn more about your speaking. The more practice tests that you submit, the better I become, or the more aware I become of what your weaknesses are, and hopefully you too. Because the main thing is you have to see what the problems are, not me. Because if you know what your issues are, then it's easier for you to solve those problems. Right? So what I want to do right now is, I want to give you some tips with pronunciation. I'm going to recommend some lessons in the pronunciation area of my course that I think can benefit you right now. You might want to write down these lessons. Okay, how about, I'm going to say lesson number 7, the coat. I think you should practice that one. Lesson number 8, the the pat versus pot, lesson 8. Also lesson number 9, the bright. You had some problems with that vowel sound. Also, I'd like to have you take a look at lesson number 13, the cheap versus sheep. That particular sound. Lesson number 16, major and measure. Measure. I think you can probably work on that one a little bit. Now, in the other part of my course, the more advanced area of my course, you really want to focus a lot right now. This is a very big weakness for you. It's syllable division and grammatical word endings. This is lesson number 26, 27, and 28. I think that you could benefit by going through those lessons. Now, you're speaking quickly. I like it. I like your speed. You're pretty fluent, but you're still not pronouncing all your sounds clearly. Now, also lessons number 41, 42, 43, and 44. These lessons focus on thought groups and blending. I think that especially with blending, you can work more on that because remember, you're not pronouncing the final consonant sounds in your words. So if you're not doing that, then you're certainly not connecting that sound to the first sound of the next word. And that's kind of what blending is all about. So those are some of the areas in your delivery, in your pronunciation that you can work on right now. Now also, I think you are having some problems with your language use. You're not sometimes using the right word or the right grammar. It sometimes makes it a little bit difficult to understand you. Your organization is actually pretty good. You give details, you organize things, so I'm not going to worry as much about that right now. I think you want to work more right now on your delivery and your language use. Now your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.16 out of 4 or 17 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. Now for the purposes of our class, this is going to put you at 2.16, puts you at 75% on this assignment. All right, thank you for doing the homework.